Everybody, thank you for sticking around while we close the curtain on the off-camera discussions. But so, okay, Medicaid, Doc. What is it? Why do we need it? Why is it messed up?
We don't need it. We should never need it. You should be on your own. Nobody should ever take care of you. Now I'm clowning. This is something that people don't understand. It isn't a liberal policy to go out and help those in need. It's not a liberal policy to go out and provide services for those who can't. As a Catholic and as a Christian, I do all kinds of stuff. I do all kinds of stuff for free. I try to get people together. Everybody knows about my trips to Ukraine and the orphanages, South Africa, all that stuff. I do that. The basic difference between Democrats and Republicans, liberals and conservatives, Christians and non-Christians, is how do we go about doing that? Democrats like to have giant government do it. That's fine and dandy. But we just saw what happens when you take a very well-meaning governor who's really pretty smart, who really thought that he had this down, and how it's turned out, because it's awful. It is just effing awful. And that's the best scenario that I can give it. There are places in Des Moines that haven't been paid since the beginning of the year. I haven't been paid for my services from the beginning of the year. We have been paid with a couple of these new MCOs in the last 3 months. It got to the point where I couldn't take Medicaid because I wasn't getting paid. Now I'm getting paid a little bit because I have to keep the doors open. There are groups in town that are, honest to God, are on the verge of shutting down. Institutions that have been here 50 years or more that provide the only service to these families in need. That is what is happening to Iowa's Medicaid program. Everybody knows how deeply I respect Governor Branstad. I love this guy 6 ways from Sunday. He is the most accomplished politician in Iowa history, period. He's one of the best politicians, period. I would put him up against Hillary. And Hillary's the toughest campaigner I know. All right? I would. We're talking that kind of level. But on this particular case, that is a big bumble. So, having gotten that off my chest, thanks everybody for listening and for the therapy session. What do you think that Kim Reynolds is going to do to fix this in this next session? What can the legislature do? Because it is a major issue. I'm the only guy left in town in a private practice that takes Medicaid. And I don't take Medicare. There's nobody in town privately that takes it. So what is Kim going to do? And more importantly, what can the legislature do to alleviate this problem?
We got a lot of things to do. First of all, Medicaid is mathematically unsustainable. It's going to fail sooner rather than later with the state government going this way. It grows by more than the state ever grows by every single year since I've been there. So every year you're cut off the top. On-time funding, I think the system is going to collapse unless the federal government starts paying more and starts deciding who gets it on a needs basis, maybe make them pay a copay. I'm not sure the actual solution for this, but I'm telling you right now, it will, next 10, 15 years, it will take away the Iowa budget and there'll be nothing left of it.
Okay. Well, one of the things that, because this is going to be a problem that, whenever you change administrations, you have to take over and fix the problems from the prior administration. Mm-hmm. This, in my opinion, is going to continue to snowball. The governor has already had to throw an extra $33 million at it. Yep. And it needs to get resolved and fixed. So, from my perspective, if you ever need my help about, how to restructure this so that it's halfway decent and everybody wants to participate, let me know. Do you have any questions to follow up here? We got about 6 minutes left.
Well, I'm curious.
I busted my brain on that last one
it's an important problem, and it's an important feature of my practice too, especially with folks who are who use not only government subsidized or government provided medical care, but also government-funded legal counsel. I mean, you don't have the constitutional right to health care. You certainly have the constitutional right to have a lawyer. And so that's a little bit different. But the folks that come into my office all the time, who have either through drug addiction or through spousal or domestic violence or just straight poverty, who have either committed some kind of crime or had their kids taken away or need to access some kind of service, almost all of them need some kind of health care, whether it be counseling for drug addiction or mental health care or something along those lines. And the Medicaid expansion that happened in 2009, 2010 helped a lot of those people. And I had folks that never thought they would be able to see a drug counselor, and effectively get their kids back. So it's been a big help for a lot of people in this state. To hear some of the doom and gloom from you, with much respect about Medicaid, I guess the following question I would have is, if it's unsustainable and it's going to collapse on top of itself because of the cost structure, what are we going to do with the millions of people in the state of Iowa that rely on that for not just basic care, but catastrophic care? It's saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that.
Yeah.
I'm just arguing
I'm accusing you. No, but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know the exact answer. I wish I had this perfect plan. I can whip it out for you. It's a 1,000-page bill, but I don't have that plan. But I do know numbers, and I do know that it will collapse. There's just no way. You can say the number it takes of the state budget every single year, on the pace it's going, it'll collapse. And the fact that the federal government doesn't pick up their share anymore is also troubling because they're broke too. So I'm scared for that, and I also think that moving forward, the access to health care in some of the rural parts of Iowa is going to be a huge problem.
It's already a huge problem.
Yeah, it is a huge problem.
It's already a huge problem.
Here's how you fix this in about 10 seconds. You take that $220 million that these insurance companies are getting, and you create, because this is $220 million a year, it isn't just $220 million over 10 years. You get that $220 million, and you start establishing rural clinics with multi-specialists, and you have people go from place to place. If you had $220 million, you could easily put up 10 clinics this year and run them for 10 years with that money. Next year, you do another 10 clinics. Break it down. So now you have 20 rural clinics, and even though people will have to drive, at least then they could do it. The other thing is you hook this into the Heart of Iowa Transport Association. People that need to have some transport, they can get on this and go. This is not rocket science. This is just plain common sense. Want to thank Jake for joining us today, being a super friend of the show. He got his decoder ring. Here's our big announcement. This is going to be our last broadcast from Webcast 1 Live. I think I might tear up. This has been home for Lefty and I for 6 years. We've gone through some great times here. We have built a pretty tremendous following. People that I love and care about are on the show a lot. We want to thank everybody. Now, this doesn't mean we're shutting down. This means we're changing. We're going to go out on terrestrial radio if we can. We're going to develop a podcast and move forward. I want to thank Maddie, our producer, Ryan Northfield, our original producer, Lefty, as always. Always been my friend since I met him. One cold freaking night out in the middle of the road. It's been awesome. This is going to continue, just not in this format. Most of all, I want to give a very hearty thank you, Mac. You've meant so much to us, and I hope we can continue to be friends, and I hope we can continue on the radio together sometimes. He gave us our break, gave me my break, I gave Lefty his, and together we've made this a wonderful program a lot of people like to watch. Sometimes got a little drama, sometimes too much, but it's been fantastic. We got a lot of super friends of the show, and we want to thank them all. Brad Zahn, Sam Clovis, Jake Highfill. Oh my God, now I'm all emotional. I can't remember the rest of them. Anyway, thanks, and we'll be back in a different format. Thanks everybody for always tuning in.